This is a too long didn't watch boss guide for Gul'Dan. Each role in the first couple phases will have a different ability on their extra action button, so let's go over those first. Tanks get Resonant Barrier, makes them take no damage for 6 seconds. Healers get Scattering Field, which will absorb 50% of the fire damage, dealt to the raid up to a certain amount, and DPS get Time Dilation, which will increase attack speed, decrease cooldowns, and make dots tick faster. It's good to note that Time Dilation will be cancelled if any fire damage is taken. The first phase, we get to attack Gul'Dan for a little bit before he goes immune into the middle of the room. While he's there, he'll target random players with Liquid Hellfire. He'll deal more damage closer you are to it, so be a little spread out. Also have the healers use their Scattering Field to mitigate this damage. Gul'Dan will also use Fell Flux at a random player, which will be a giant beam, just have the whole raid move out of it. They also cast Hand of Gul'Dan, which will summon the 3 mini-bosses that you fight to end this phase. The first one is Fell Lord Kurazmal. He will cast Shatter Essence on the tanks should use their extra action button to ignore this. The next one is Inquisitor Velthers, who will Shadow Blink around the room. He deals light damage to the tank that picks him up, but the main thing is he'll spawn eyes around the room that will spin around and deal a lot of damage. Last that is Zork the Trapper. He'll cast Soul Vortex on the tank, which will make them take increased physical damage and pulse AoE. Players need to move out of the AoE and the other tank needs to pick up the physical damage adds. Save Time Dilation for when Inquisitor spawns and burn him down first. Once all 3 are dead, it'll shift over to phase 2 and Gul'Dan will be hittable again. Tank him in the middle of the room. In this phase, Gul'Dan will still Liquid Hellfire, so continue to mitigate it. He also gains the ability Bonds of Fel, which will knock players back and then bind them to the ground. When they walk out of the circle, it'll deal massive damage to them, so have players move over to them to soak it. This will always affect the tank, so make sure to swap off when it happens. Second, Gul'Dan will also spawn Eye of Gul'Dans. These will come down and deal damage, then begin to duplicate, so make sure to kill them before they get out of hand. You should also probably Time Dilation to help with this. The third ability he gains is Fell Scythe, which is a tank mechanic. Whenever anyone is within 2 yards of the primary tank, Gul'Dan will use this ability and gain attack speed. He has an energy bar which he uses to use this ability, and if he's ever at full, he'll just use it no matter who's near. If you ever have to take it alone, use your Resonant Barrier for this. You want him to use this ability every around 12 seconds. At 85%, he'll start empowering Bonds of Fel, so he'll knock players back significantly, so you want to stack on him before it happens. It also does increase damage, so you may want to use your healer cooldowns here. At 70%, he'll empower Liquid Hellfire, which will make it deal more damage and then leap a patch of fire on the ground. And then at 55%, he'll start empowering his Eyes of Gul'Dan, which will make them pulse AoE at random players, so you need to spread out when they come out. Also on Heroic, he'll continue to cast Hand of Gul'Dan, which will spawn Dreadlord adds. He's going to be killed quickly. At 40% health, he'll switch over to phase 3. Once he reaches this, he goes immune and moves to the middle of the room. You need to run toward him, you'll get knocked off. I kind of forgot to mention that, but he does that in the first transition too. Once he becomes unimmune, a tank will want to drag him to one of the sides of the room. Also in this phase, he continues to cast Fell Scythe. Along with Fell Scythe, he'll also continue to spawn empowered Eye of Gul'Dans. In this phase, he'll also start marking players with Flames of Sargeras. These players need to move out quickly because after 3 seconds, they'll start dropping fire on the ground. Everyone knows, fire's bad. You also start putting the debuff Soul Siphon on people. This needs to be healed up. For each Soul Siphon that goes out, add a soul to the soul well in the middle of the room. Once these are added to the well, you need to move into the well to soak them, so designate a few players each time to go in and soak the well. Every time a player soaks a soul, they'll gain the debuff Soul Corruption, which will add up a ticking dot. Lastly, he'll cast Storm of the Destroyer. This is centered on wherever you're positioning him at the moment, so move to the other side of the room because he'll do 3 explosions out from him. I'm going to add this part at the end, but I want to keep it short to keep the video short. Thanks guys again. I know this is late. Stuff came up, but ultimately those are just excuses. I'll try to have these on time for when Tomb of Sargeras comes out, especially if I can convince my guild to do PTR rating. This is just a hobby of Ryan and ours, so we just do it in our spare time. So thanks for sticking with us. I don't put ads on these videos because sometimes the ads would probably be longer than the actual videos themselves. So if you want to do anything, just go and follow us at Twitch. I really do want to start Twitch streaming in my spare time. I don't really know what I'd actually stream because WoW's a little boring to watch, but we'll see. So yeah, thanks again, guys. I'll see y'all in the Tomb of Sargeras.